I'm not sure who you have me confused with, but thank you very much. All right. Welcome everyone, I'm Tom Overley, news anchor at KTTC. I'd also like to welcome our viewers watching live right now on Rochester CW station, KTTC.com, our friends at KSMQ, NPR News, and the Post Bulletin. Welcome. Welcome all of you here as well today. We are pleased to have this opportunity to hear from the congressional candidates for the first congressional district seat and to learn their views on these very important issues. Nelson Mandela says, "A good leader can engage in debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end he and the other side must be closer and thus emerge stronger. You don't have that idea when you are arrogant, superficial, and uninformed." Nelson Mandela. So here with questions to keep us informed, the lovely Julie Fiesel from the Rochester Area Chamber of Commerce. Julie, raise your hand there. In the red, that's a miss. Julie did so much work putting this debate together, so I owe her so much in gratitude. Thank you, Julie. Eric Atherton, the handsome Eric Atherton from the Post Bulletin, and also the handsome Mark Zedetlik from NPR News. Thank you for joining us today. And now the two men of the hour, or of the next 90 minutes, I'd like to introduce our candidates, if they wouldn't mind stepping up here. Representative Tim Walz and former state representative Alan Quist. As a command sergeant major. He is a former high school teacher and football coach in my old stomping grounds of Mankato, Minnesota. He and his wife Gwen have 2 children. Congressman Walz is in his 3rd term as the representative for Minnesota's 1st congressional district. Mr. Quist is a farmer and a retired professor at Bethany Lutheran College, where he also coached wrestling and debates. Mr. Quist and his wife Julie have 10 children. He has written 5 books, including one that examines federal curriculum requirements. Mr. Quist also served 3 terms in the Minnesota House from 1983 to 1989. So, gentlemen, here are the rules of the road. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for their opening and closing statements, 1 minute to answer each question. The candidate who answers the question first will have a chance for a 30-second rebuttal if he needs to clarify. You also have the option to remain silent. As you know, I'm in the media, and what you say can be misquoted or re-edited and used against you.
We know that, don't we?
I'm serious about that. That's a joke. Okay, so we're going to flip a coin here. Mark. Flip a coin to determine who gets to go first, and whoever gives their opening statement first will give their closing statement last. I also want to thank Mark Sonis as our timekeeper today. Mark is there. So you all know the yellow is a 15-second cutoff and 30 is the red. Okay, flip the coin. Alan, go ahead.
Yes. Alan has won. I got a quarter.
So Alan, do you want to have an opening statement first, or? Okay, here you go.
Tom, thank you, and thank you everyone for coming. I'd first like to mention that I pay a lot of attention to detail, and I noticed that Tom introduced the 2 gentlemen and the lady at my right as the handsome and the beautiful, and he didn't introduce either of us that way, and so Tom, I'm just going to ask you.
Can we start over and let you introduce you both as extremely handsome gentlemen? There we go.
All right, all right. I'm not going to say a lot about myself. Go to my webpage, quistforcongress.com. But I want you to know I'm a private sector guy. I was in the legislature 3 terms. But I'm a teacher, a farmer, and an investor. And Mr. Walz likes to call me a career politician. I don't think that makes me a career politician. But I'm here because I'm very concerned about our country. I'd like to thank Mr. Walz for agreeing to a 90-minute debate and a second 90-minute debate, but I'd like to remind you that he challenged me to 3 90-minute debates, and when I sell 100,000 bushels of corn on a futures contract, I deliver 100,000 bushels of corn. I just found out last night he has reneged on the third debate. And why is that important? Because Mr. Walz consistently says one thing and does something else. And that will be one of the themes of the debate, that there's a huge contrast between what he says and what he does. Now, a little bit about my record in the legislature. I was the chief author of the bill that created the Department of Jobs and Training. Why? We wanted to equip people for meaningful employment, as we need here in Rochester. I was the chief author of the bill that legalized homeschooling. My wife and I have never homeschooled, but we think it's a basic human right. I was chief author of the bill that set up the non-smoking program in the schools. And just with these three bills, many thousands of Minnesotans are far better off because of my work. I have always been bipartisan.
All right, Mr. Quist, thank you very much. Congressman Walz.
Well, thank you, Tom, and thank you to all the sponsors of this, the Chamber. Most importantly, thank you to each of you here, the Chamber members. Thank you for creating opportunities so that people can live in this great area, that they can raise their families here, and they can attempt to achieve that American dream. I'm grateful for that. We started out, only can you run for Congress in a debate, debating about debates. And it's an interesting point we're in this country, but I have to tell you, as we face down the worst economy in 75 years, there's absolutely nothing wrong in America that can't be fixed by what's right in America. I watch this tough economy. My friends Dan and Angie Bastian in Mankato start out cooking kettle corn in their garage. They've made that into Angie's Kettle Corn. It's sold at Target Field and Costco across the country. Peerless Chain, founded by veterans after World War I, the leading manufacturer of chain in this country, forging it, manufacturing it in Winona, partnering with me to hire our veterans as they come back. This country knows that the only way that things work, the glue that holds the democracy together, is compromise towards a common purpose. And I am proud, as I've represented you, to bring things in one of the most divisive Congresses we've ever seen, to pass things like the Stock Act, to try and restore some faith in your elected officials that we shouldn't be trading on insider information. Of course, that should have been done a long time ago, but it didn't get done until I got there and built a coalition to pass it. To pass veterans' job skills that are re-employing after the longest war in this nation's history, with no plans on how to deal with those veterans. Remember, the war was going to be over in weeks, not months, and we'd pay for it with oil? It's $4 trillion and counting. We have a moral responsibility and an economic responsibility. This country knows we weren't founded on looking backwards. We were founded on looking forward, of respecting our neighbors and moving towards common goals. I've been proud to serve you for these 6 years. I've been proud to change the tone, and I think that if we continue in this direction, we all know what the answer is. Our best days lie ahead, so thank you.
Congressman Walz, thank you very much. Our first question comes today from Mark Zadeklik from NPR News.
Well, let's get right to the heart of this campaign, and many campaigns like it around the country. You both know, gentlemen, that for more than 3 years, national unemployment has been over 8%. What, if anything, can Congress do about that statistic? And also, do government stimulus programs work?
Do I start? Thank you. By the way, I found out 2 minutes goes really, really fast, and so I'm going to have to talk really, really fast to answer the questions. There's an awful lot that Congress can do. By the way, we just learned that the growth rate in the second quarter was only 1.3%. And so we're looking at a so-called recovery that is extraordinarily stagnant. So why is that? It's because government is standing in the way of the powerful engine of free enterprise. How is it doing that? Well, I was on the U.S. Chamber website here a couple days ago. They post there the results of a poll of small businesses. First of all, 80% of small businesses say they're not going to add jobs. 8% say they're going to lay people off, and only 12% say they're going to add. Okay, why the anemic job growth? The biggest answer given was the Affordable Care Act. I call it the Unaffordable Care Act, which is a huge impediment that Congressman Walz and this Congress has placed in the face of small business, and these are the folks that create our employment.
First of all, I think the model that you all create here in Minnesota is a collaborative approach with investments, not the either-or approach that we get. It's either this or that. We've known throughout this history from Alexander Hamilton's point to Congress in 1791 that we needed a national strategy on manufacturing. What government can do on this is create the atmosphere and create that environment. John said it very well in here, of making sure that to move products we have a solid infrastructure system. Instead of griping and bringing things to a standstill, we were not getting a transportation bill. I brought a resolution forward, got over 400 votes on that, and within 3 days we had a transportation bill that will create over about 75,000 new jobs in Minnesota, growing growth and allowing products to move quicker to market. Those are the types of things we can do. We got a farm bill that should be doing this, but Alan and folks say they don't want it.
Congressman, thank you. Next question from Julie.
Do I get a 30-second?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I should.
I'm going to hold you there.
Was there a 30-second rebuttal there? We'll give you 30. We'll give you 30 seconds.
What did I get?
30-second rebuttal.
Do I get
Okay.
that on that?
No.
No.
But I didn't rebut that. I only got a minute. They got a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
30-second
That's
rebuttal.
what it is.
That's correct. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, notice the difference in approaches here. My approach is to remove the impediments from small business, remove the impediments from free enterprise, so the engine of free enterprise can work. What's Mr. Walz's approach? And by the way, I agree with spending on transportation, but his approach is the government should spend more money. That's how we create jobs. The government will spend more money. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't cut it. The way we create jobs is through free enterprise, free markets, unleashing the lion, the engine of economic growth.
All right, Mr. Quist, thank you. Julie, our next question.
We have the biggest change in healthcare that we have in our memories, most of our memories here in the United States, and it's the Affordable Care Act. What do you think works in that? Are there some things that you agree with, and are there some things that you would change if you were elected or re-elected?
Yes, first of all, this nation spends 17.9% of its GDP on healthcare, far outstripping any other in the world. It puts us at a competitive disadvantage. We have 50 million uninsured people that cost $2,000 to every other person. This is an impediment not only morally to people getting their health care, but economically for you to be able to compete. What we said is what's happening with health care, we can deliver health care in a more efficient, effective manner. And what the Mayo Clinic is able to do, an average patient here costs about $6,500. In McClellan, Texas, it's $18,000. We can focus on, and with the portions that I wrote in the bill by countless hundreds of hours with Mayo Clinic and other folks talking about this, is focusing on the delivery of healthcare in terms of value over volume, of keeping people healthy and focusing on the front side. The Affordable Care Act will save $109 billion in healthcare costs. As we move towards those accountabilities in terms of asking people to deliver better, now you have true competition in the marketplace. You have people able to go out and actually see what their plans are able to get for them, and what you'll find is a healthier population with economic growth following.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see here another total contrast between Mr. Walz and myself. He thinks you make something more efficient by having the government take it over. I just say, give me a break. No way, Jose, is that how you make something more efficient? There are so many things that are bad in this healthcare bill, it's hard to know where to start. It's stopping small business from creating jobs. There's also a marriage penalty, over $10,000 for a married couple, income of 60 grand. In this healthcare bill, there's a huge transfer of who pays the cost to married people of the middle class. That's wrong.
All right, 30-second rebuttal.
Well, it's simply false, and Alan didn't offer you anything on this. The free market in healthcare is there, is what we're trying to put into this. It allowed for competition to be there, making sure we're paying for those values. What you're hearing is there's nothing to deal with the 50 million, nothing to deal with the 17.9% and the added costs, and nothing that the government can't do anything right in this. Alan, are you on Medicare? That would be a question you would ask. If it's working, that would be one way, a direction to go. That yes, we can always make it better, and it's not the either or. I have never said that government is the engine to this, but what we do is provide the environment to make that happen.